gratitude is a way to bring our emotions up and up and up, right? In fact, gratitude is a way to actively think of positive moments with a person or a place or a thing so that you can actually be happy with that person or that interaction that you had with that place, thing, or person. So on one side, it is dropping the difference. On the other side, because you're finding positive in the people. We might have differences, but when you try to find positive, then you are able to express gratitude for that. Nerve cells that wire together, that fire together, wire together. And then brain, another science thing is that use it or lose it. Two things. When we are repeating a set of activities against a clear intent, the intent in our case is that I want to be a better version of myself. I'm healing myself deeply. I'm becoming greater than what I am today. I'm going to be of greatest help to people around me. We all can find ourselves in any of these three aspects, right? Based on where we are in our body, based on where we are in our life. Either we are deeply looking to be healed, physically, mentally, or we're looking to become greater and greater, move into greatness, more successful, or we're looking to become the best help for everybody because we had seen it. We want to help others. We recognize that that's the way we can gain more and more happiness. And we set that intent around these things. And then we start doing this gratitude every day. We're automatically healing. We're automatically moving our mind to start accessing areas that it is not accessed before. And so cells that fire together, wire together, so we keep on making it stronger and stronger. Whereas cells that you don't access, they'll slowly die. Use it or lose it. So now, and we start doing it regularly, then our old programs about that frustrating event with a person whom now you are forgiving and then expressing gratitude, the old memories, that because you no longer fire them, then they go away. Slowly, they have to die. And we slowly reprogram ourselves. So gratitude is one of the powerful tool that we have at our disposal very, very easily to start expressing. Meditation is a foundational tool to become aware so that we can put our attention on what we intend to be. And then this meditation, of course, is helping us to be tuning into this unlimited potential and possibility.
Happy morning, friends and masters. Happy evening to the masters from the West. Today, we have with us co-founder of Buddha CEO Quantum Foundation, Lawrence Jali, who will be walking us through how expressing gratitude, surrendering to the process of manifestation is very important. This being the key step, the last step of manifestation process. So over the week, we have seen the 5-step manifestation signs. Today, we will see accept and express gratitude. Thank you, Lawrence, for joining in and walking us through this session.
Thank you, Veena. And so happy to be back again from again France, as last week. It's the middle of the night, and I will need all your attention and energy to enjoy this beautiful coming nearly 2 hours. So we will have first a lot of gratitude for 2 guest speakers that will join us for the post-meditation session. As you know, every Saturday we hear from a professional, from business leader, business executive. And we have the chance today to have Suresh Ravour, who is a VP at Spring Path in the US, and Brent, who is going to share his experience of meditation, spirituality, also very successful in his startup, FinTech. So I encourage everybody to stay with us. And as usual, we tell that meditator absolutely need for their spiritual journey to hear and share experiences. And that's how we accelerate our access to the highest level of consciousness, and also how we discover who we are and how we are, and of course how we can maximize the benefit of meditation. So gratitude, I thought about this topic is very key, and you heard Chandra in the video, and I discovered through meditation and talking to a lot of meditators that yes, we can reprogram our brain, our mind, to live in a state of gratitude all the time. We forget about the old program of, hey, I'm being grateful only when I say thank you to someone. We have been told since we are a child, say thank you when you are given something, where somebody is doing something for you, which is great, of course, because you have also people who have absolutely lost even this saying thank you when they get something from someone, a service, a nice word, anything. But we can improve that and elevate that feeling to being in a grateful attitude all the time. And that's how we're going to really be successful in the manifestation process. So when I discuss that with people and friends, they say, well, how can you say that, Laurence? Be grateful all the time with all the challenges that I get every day. How can I be grateful? And actually, the manifestation process is showing that sometimes when we have a goal, when we have an objective, very precise, that we try to manifest, the journey to this goal will not be straight. And sometimes we'll go like this. And we don't know, I am in part of this, I am straight to the goal or not. And I will tell you a story, a quite well-known story that you might have heard in the past, but it's good to remind us. Stories are, something that we print very easily in our brain, and it's helping us to actually implement this new programming and find sense of gratitude. And it tells about the fact that we don't always know this journey, and we have to trust the universe, that the universe has our back to bring us to where we want to manifest, to our goal. And this is the story, this Chinese story about the farmer, the sun, and the horse. So I'm going to read it. It's very short, and you will start thinking about this famous journey. And remember, that sometimes it doesn't come exactly the way we think, but if we stay in a state of gratitude, we are absolutely going toward our goal. So it's a story about the farmer and his son. They had a beloved horse. The horse was helping the family to earn a living. And one day the horse ran away. And the neighbor exclaimed, "Oh, your horse ran away. What terrible luck. Oh my God." But the farmer replied, maybe not. And actually, a few days later, the horse returned home, and he was leading a wild group of horses back to the farm as well. So means horses had followed him. So it was a great thing for the farmer. The neighbor said, "Wow, your horse has returned, and he brought several horses with him. How lucky you are, what a great luck." And the farmer said, maybe not. I don't know. And actually, later that week, the farmer's son was trying to break one of the horses so they could use it for the farm. But the horse threw away the son, who fell on the ground and broke his leg. The neighbors this time cried, "Oh, your son broke his leg. what a terrible luck. And the farmer answered with his very high level of wisdom, maybe, maybe not. And actually, a few weeks later, the soldiers came to the house. This is the National Army. And they marched through the town first, recruiting every boys for the army to go to war. But they didn't take the son's farmer because he had broken a leg. So he couldn't walk, he couldn't go to war. So those neighbors then shouted this time, wow, how lucky you are, your boy is spared. What a tremendous luck. To which the wise farmer again replied, maybe, maybe not, we will see. So this story is just to remember that we might have wish for something. And in the meantime, other events will happen. And you all have that probably in your life. And as part of building the gratitude in this manifestation process, it's a good tip to actually look back at some events that might have taken us to a very difficult time, but actually the outcome was positive. It, for instance, helped us grow, it helped us develop a new skill, or helped us move to a place where actually we wanted to be, being a job, being, changing companies. I had some example of people who had to leave, their job in IBM, were for a while quite desperate, but actually ended by being in a dream job that they would have never go to because of the routine of being in a previous job, because of the fear of, moving, changing, their ego and their analytical mind telling them, no, don't go there. You are fine there. You should be okay. Don't try to change. Don't try to learn some new things. Don't try to have new experiences. So it means that as we don't know and as we trust this path, to our spiritual journey, to manifesting what we want, we have to be grateful about first, everything that is happening to us as a way to grow, and to also express gratitude in the manifestation process itself. When we are doing the manifestation process inside, after our meditation, for instance, or during the day when we spend a few minutes around the goals that we have, to grow this gratitude, elevated emotion in ourselves, and be grateful to the universe as if the goals have already been achieved. Always be I have my goals achieved, and how do I feel when it's achieved, but how do I thank the universe when I as if this is happening, and how do I build this gratitude? By doing this, we send message to the universe of gratitude, of high energy, and we continue to attract the right events to us to go toward our goals. So it's very, very important for the manifestation, but also for our own elevated emotion state to stay in gratitude. And actually, we all know there are so many things to be grateful for, so many things that we take for granted. In my case, again, with the maybe, maybe not, I have a son who is in a wheelchair. I could spend my time feeling guilty, feeling angry about the universe for him. Why? Instead of now being grateful for everything I can provide to him to help him in his journey, in his own life, but also be grateful that he is my best, teacher in life. Being grateful for everything, he's teaching me, but also then learning to be grateful for everything I have myself. Yes, I can walk. I can go and take a shower. I can go and visit somebody by myself. So we always have to work on developing this gratitude and express it explicitly. Very important to express explicitly, when we are grateful to people, being really grateful, just not a thank you. But when we are grateful is being able to explain how much we are grateful, why we are grateful, and then create these two ways of gratitude and receivership. It's absolutely doable for everybody to create this state of gratitude. Because when we are mindful, thanks to meditation, when we are aware, we are going to see all the small things that we maybe have ignored up to now. A smile from someone, a little note from a colleague, a little gesture, a little help that we got, but in the middle of the actions in business, we forgot even to say thank you. So as business leader, being grateful explicitly is amazingly powerful for many, many reasons that you can imagine, but it's also fulfilling for everyone. And it's creating a culture of creating a strong family where everybody can count on each other and know that is going to be recognized, is going to be wanted for more help and loved for what they are doing. The last point, very key before we go in meditation, is that it has been, of course, scientifically proven that when we are in a state of gratitude, which again is the highest elevated emotion, we create, chemicals, feel-good chemicals that is, of course, flowing to every single cell of our body. We send an information, that is going to help us, as Chandra was saying in the video, to develop our health, to improve our health, to develop and improve our immune system. Stronger energy and more healthy is the outcome also of being in this grateful mode. And the joy is also coming with it. You can use the cheapest tool in the world to express gratitude and to create a feeling of gratitude around you, which is smiling. Every time you smile, you express gratitude for just you are being there. I'm grateful for this and I'm smiling to you. It's a great day. I look at the cloud. I heard a bird. So all these small things in nature that you can also be grateful for. And as you smile to the world, you also develop in your brain this wiring of, yes, I can be and I can stay in grateful mode. It doesn't mean that I live in Disneyland. It doesn't mean that everything is beautifully and naively wonderful. It's just that I will try to take everything as an experience to grow, and I trust the universe to guide me toward my goals. Okay, so I'm so grateful you are all here, and to the energy that you are expressing now, and we're going to go into meditation. As usual, we're going to do breath mindfulness meditation. So I'm going to ask you to comfortably sit on the floor, on a chair, on a sofa. You can take back support if you need. The idea is to have your body as comfortable as possible so it doesn't distract you during the meditation. You're going to close the eyes, so 80% of the energy of our senses goes through the eyes. So we keep the energy in, cross the hands like that, fingers into fingers, to create that loop of energy. Cross the legs at the ankle, if that's comfortable for your knees, again, to maximize this loop of energy. And you're going to focus your attention to the breath for the entire duration of the meditation. The normal standard breath. If you have glasses, you take them off. If you have a kind of smartwatch, you also can take it off. And I will play the music and guide the meditation. So for now, just close the eyes and sit comfortably. And I'm going to ask my friend Vina to tell me if the music is fine and the voice is okay, and balance with the music. Let me just launch the music. Share. So Vina, is my voice okay with the music? Is the music enough? Are you listening? Hearing okay? All right, perfect. So let's go in this journey with full gratitude of our entire body. So we'll start with a short body scan and heart elevation to help us enjoy this beautiful dive into meditation. So dear friends, sit comfortably and take a long, slow, deep breath. Breathing in, breathing out. And you're going to tell your mind to focus your attention to your feet grounded on the floor, from heels to toes. Feel them. Then slowly move your attention to your knees bended, the right knee, the left knee. Then move your attention up to your legs, and you can be grateful for them as they carry you all day long. Then put your attention to your low back. Try to visualize the low back. And move up slowly, slowly along the spine. And go up to the shoulders. The right, the left. And relax once. And relax twice. You feel like a mountain with dignity. Then move up your attention to your head and to your face. 40 muscles in the face to relax. The forehead, relax the cheeks, the jaws, the tongue in the mouth, often tense, just relax. And finally, relax your hands. And now, move your attention to dive into your chest. Go inside and find your heart beating in your chest, your beautiful heart. Listen. Listen to the heart. This wonderful friend the core of all emotions: joy, gratitude, compassion, care, love, enthusiasm. Be with your heart. And you can bring to this heart, to your friend, a moment of your life when you were so happy, joyful, and grateful. Bring this moment, relive this moment. Feel the powerful energy flowing from your heart through your entire body to every cell. Every cell dancing. And now, dear friends, let's move with gratitude into breath mindfulness meditation. Keep your eyes closed and move your entire attention to observing your breath, your normal, standard, and tender breath. Your breath is your best friend, your unconditional, loving friend, always with you, wherever you are, days and night. Be with your breath. Feel the air coming in a bit cooler and coming out a bit warmer. At this stage, you are entirely still. The only thing moving inside you is the flow of the air coming in and out of your body. How wonderful that we are breathing. How grateful for every breath. Every breath bringing us life. Every breath connecting us to the universe. Be with your breath. If thoughts are distracting you, that's okay. That's normal. No worry and no judgment. Just notice the thought and move it out gently. Then bring back your attention to your breath. And do this again and again and again. How grateful we are to breathe together in this powerful group meditation. To just be. For once, allow yourself to forget everything about your life, to forget everything about yourself, and to just be. Be the observer, the witness, the scientist of your breath. Be with your breath, dear friends. Become one with your breath and allow yourself to feel lighter and lighter with your in-breath and out-breath. As we breathe, we slowly and slowly quiet the mind and we create space for emptiness. And emptiness is energy. As we meditate, we are going to the source of our energy. Be with your breath. It is natural to still have thoughts. Again, no worry. just notice the thoughts and move them out gently. And bring back your attention to your tender breath again and again. Be with your breath, dear friends. Continue to observe the flow of the air. And as your mind is getting quiet, or as your mind is even getting empty, notice if you can start feeling any sensation of space and emptiness inside your body. And stay with your breath. As you become one with your breath, become aware of this emptiness inside your body. and all around your body. Emptiness is energy in the quantum field of energy. Allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into this emptiness inside you. And all around you, where there is nothing, where there is nobody, where there is no place and no time. Welcome with gratitude this quiet feeling of emptiness. As we become one with the breath, now, dear friends, keep your eyes closed. Stay with your breath. And pick up one thing you want to be grateful for today. It can be anyone or anything. a smile, the blue sky, a good coffee, a hug, a good news, a person you want to be grateful for. And bring this gratitude into yourself, into your heart, into your mind. Visualize, feel the gratitude, feel the chill on your skin, feel your heart beating, and the flow of gratitude to every part of your body, to every cell. And you can smile. Feel the energy of gratitude all around your body, as if every one of the billions of cells was dancing with joy, grateful. And breathe. Let the flow of gratitude moving into you and shining toward the world. Welcome back, dear friends. After this journey, I hope you enjoy the meditation. Every meditation is a good meditation. Now, we are so grateful to have guests with us who will share their own experience, their meditation journey. So grateful, as sharing is one of the most precious things that we can receive as meditator to help our spiritual growth and higher level of consciousness. I will turn to Veena to introduce our first guest, Suresh. Thank you so much, Suresh, for being there. And I can see behind you the flow of energy coming. Thanks a lot. And I will let Veena introduce you and with your bio.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you for that wonderful meditation. Today, friends and masters, we have with us Mr. Suresh Ravour. Mr. Suresh Ravour. And excuse me. Yeah. Suresh Ravour is a successful Silicon Valley business leader with 30 years of software technology expertise. He had engineering teams at pioneering Silicon Valley technology companies, including Cisco and VMware, and at a few advanced startups. He created several cutting-edge software products that are used by Fortune 10,000 customers worldwide. He played a key role in the acquisition of his last startup, Spring Path, by Cisco Systems, and helped grow the business to $500 million plus revenues. Suresh is passionate about nature, travel, yoga, meditation, and an avid reader. He has known meditation for a few years and practicing it seriously since 2020. He finds several benefits from meditation and actively advocates to people in his circles. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you here, Mr. Suresh.
Thank you, Veena. Namaskaram, dear friends and masters. Good morning to those of you for whom it's still the morning, and good evening for others. And I guess it is appropriate to say good night for those who are logged in the middle of the night. And on that note, for especially
We lost your video, yes. Yeah,
okay.
Back.
And especially I want to share my gratitude from the entire group for Lawrence, yourself, and Chandra sir. It's probably 12:30, 1:30 in the nights when you're running these sessions. Your passion and commitment.
It's 3:30 now in France.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
So I wanted to give a quick intro to myself. I was born in southern India, a city called Madras, which is where I did my schooling. And I did my undergrad in computer science in BITS Pilani. Then I came to the US in 1992 to do my master's, and I've been working here ever since. I live in San Jose, California with my wonderful wife and 21-year-old son. So that's about myself. Before going into my experiences from meditation, I wanted to share a little bit of how I got introduced to meditation. And it's interesting because I think spirituality and meditation kept chasing me multiple times until I finally got it. Probably the earliest exposure I had, at least in this lifetime, is when I was in 7th grade in school, probably 12 years. And I was fortunate that my school did introduce the students to many, many things beyond just academics that is typical of most Indian schools. A lot of cultural arts and Vedic scriptures and spirituality, etc. So we were every single person in the school, probably not people in kindergarten, but as far as I can remember, every single person in school was initiated into a style of meditation called transcendental meditation. And every single day, time was earmarked for all of us to practice it. Whether we sat out in the assembly together, or if it was too hot in the classrooms. Of course, the interesting thing is when you are that young, at least let me speak for myself, you don't always take it seriously. And we would have our eyes closed and we would be like whispering to our friends or giggling about something. And when the school stopped mandating it, I stopped meditating also. Nevertheless, I feel the seeds were planted at that time, and they germinate when the time is ready. Along the way, I forgot to mention that when I did my undergrad in BITS Pilani, that's when I met PCS, Chandra sir. He's a very good friend of mine back from college days, and I may, in the flow of things, refer to him as PCS, which is how I refer to him. And he has been an amazing coach and a guiding light for me in this life. He's since around probably 2003 or so, we always stayed in touch, and he used to keep telling me about spirituality and meditation and his experiences and how I should spend more time in that direction also. And I was the typical, and by the way, PCS was also like me. We were all very analytical, logical, scientific. Probably you could describe us as atheists. We needed proof, didn't believe in any particular religion. We placed a lot of emphasis on our own experiences and what is logical and provable, etc. So I used to ask PCS all those questions. How do you know it's helping you? Has it improved your health? Are you able to be better in control of your emotions, etc.? And slowly, patiently, in a nurturing way, PCS kept sharing his experiences, how he stopped seeing doctors and taking medicines for many, many years, and some serious health issues he'd had, chronic health issues had healed themselves, and how, yes, definitely, conquering or becoming more comfortable and responding to emotions versus reacting to emotions is something he had experienced too. So he was working at me over the years. And then I came into around 2008. This is another interesting anecdote. I came seriously into spirituality and meditation by way of food, cooking. So my wife is an amazing, wonderful cook, and she often shares her love for the family through tasty, nutritious meals. And she had signed up for this Ayurveda cooking course from a group called Art of Living here in the US in our neighborhood. It was on the weekend. Unfortunately, she had to rush to India to help her father, who had a serious health issue. And she asked me to attend the class and said, look, I can't go. Just get whatever notes and flyers and information that they share. That will be helpful for me. I thought it was the least I could do to support all that she'd been doing on this front. So I went there a little reluctantly. And as I mentioned, it's a spiritual organization. Ayurveda cooking is one aspect of it. So they start all their sessions with some light yoga, and then do a 15-minute meditation before getting into the crux of the program. That was my second or third introduction, and something clicked at that point. And from there, I went on to becoming more interested into yoga and doing a lot of courses and being a certified yoga instructor, continuing more meditation practices. And at that point, PCS also was traveling more often to the US, and I had the opportunity of spending time with him and doing joint meditations, etc. So that's how the practice strengthened. True to my scientific curiosity, I kept exploring many different styles of meditation apart from Art of Living, Ana-Pana-Sati, PSSM. We also explored meditation programs with Isha Yoga. Recently, when PCS was touring the US, I attended his quantum creation workshop in LA. And wonderful experiences from all of them. And essentially, over time, my faith belief in meditation and spirituality became stronger because I was seeing the benefits personally myself. Briefly describing my practice itself, during normal days, as in when I'm not traveling, etc., I probably meditate twice a day, once in the morning and once in the night, just before sleeping. And it's amazing. I meditate and go to bed, and within 1 or 2 minutes, I'm fast asleep, very relaxed. I also practice yoga 3 to 4 times a day, and really enjoy being in the outdoors. I try to walk at least once, probably twice a day, weather permitting. So with that background, let me share a little bit more on what specifically my experiences have been and how it has helped me. Generally, first and foremost, I would say my health has improved. I feel I have better health and immunity. I used to be prone to a lot of illnesses, maybe 2-3 times a year, even as a child growing up in India, and even after coming to the US, sore throat, cold, fever, something related to respiratory. And that has in general diminished, almost completely gone away. And the main change, of course, I'm getting older, but people's health usually doesn't get better because they're getting older. The only other thing I can think about is my practice of meditation. Recently, since March, for example, I was in India for a little more than a month, and I've been traveling quite a bit within the US after that. And thankfully, I've stayed healthy. It's just a sense of oneness that you get with meditation, a feeling of, look, I'm part of nature, everything else out there, including the bacteria and the viruses, they're all part of nature. And if you, at least for me, what has helped is a feeling of, look, we're all in this, I support you, and in whatever way you need, as long as I don't harm you and you don't harm me. And that sense of togetherness with the universe is been helpful to me. Another aspect I would say is, like I said, I used to be, I still am to a large extent, but very analytical, logical, scientific, always thinking with the mind and how I make decisions. So I need to plan things well and see the end result with a high degree of confidence. Dealing with ambiguity was very hard for me. And slowly I've been changing in my way of approaching things there. I'm more open to listening to feelings and instinct and intuition and trusting the universe when everything is not crystal clear and locked in with a 99% or higher probability of success. Just going with the flow and knowing that if you're doing it from the right intention, things will work out in the way they are best supposed to work out. So that's been very liberating when you don't have to stress and worry about the outcome so much. And related to that is also getting better at not being so concerned about what will other people think about me, not being a football of other people's opinions, whether it comes to performance or stature, social stature, or how do I look physically, or all of those, right? I mean, there's a joy and a beauty that comes from deep within when you're at peace that far surpasses any physical aspect, and that's something I enjoy and I aspire to more and more. On professional situations, work life, I'm sure all of us have our share of stress and tension and anxiety at work. And to give you some more color on my personal situation, it's there at big companies too, but especially at startups where the success or the longevity or the future, whether the company lives tomorrow or not, sometimes depends on one single bad event can bring down the smaller companies, right? They are generally more vulnerable. And then in one of my companies, we were building very critical storage systems. This was the one that was referred to as SpringPath. And these systems were being used in a lot of situations, police departments, emergency dispatch centers, hospitals to run their operations, etc. And however much we try, software systems built on hardware systems, they are not foolproof, right? They're not perfect. And there are cases where things go wrong and there are outages in these systems not working. And I remember one particular incident where we had a hospital which had the system down and they needed to get it back in a hurry. And it wasn't directly related to a problem in our software, but nevertheless, we are the vendor, we were responsible for it. And at that point, I had been meditating and I could feel a sense of calmness and clarity in how we worked through that escalation. The team was there, it was late night on a Saturday in the office, and there were emotions of panic and responsibility and feeling of, oh my God, how can we put our customer in a situation like this, especially in a hospital kind of environment. And left to itself, it would have, possibly resulted in chaos and a haphazard way of responding. But I was able to get clarity of how to be very focused, keeping the intensity at the same time focused and deliberate in getting us towards a good resolution. And I clearly think that sense of calmness in those crucible moments of pressure, I attribute it to my meditation practice. And also tied to it, right? You get a lot more empathy with people, being patient, listening to their viewpoints, genuinely connecting with them to find the win-win situation, better alignment versus earlier, if I go back 10, 15 years ago, it would be about, I had a certain agenda, I had a viewpoint, I felt that was right. And all my energies would be focused on how can I convince the other people to get to that viewpoint. Versus now, I may do that in certain situations, but I also have an open mind where I hear the other people out. And at the end, walking out of that room, everyone is more energized and bought into the decision or the direction because there is a common sense of collaboration there. What else? I want to be mindful of time because I want Brent to also
yes.
work. Yeah. Let me stop with one thing that Laurence, you also just brought up is, I think one key turning point along my practice of meditation is where I made it a point to remind myself to go into each meditation with no expectation and no comparison. No comparison with someone else, no comparison with my own meditation on a previous day, etc. And it's almost a catch-22. When you go in with no expectation, that meditation is the best it can be for you that particular day. So I just wanted to share that, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share.
Wonderful, Suresh. Wonderful. I recognize a lot of my journey in yours, because I also got Chandra as a insisting coach on how to get into meditation and all these benefits, and of course everything you mentioned, at work, in a relationship, in a way to consider others. It's interesting that you got the seed planted very early. I think it's a richness that maybe was there dormant for a while, but very impressive. I also I took 2 or 3 notes about the fact that you went for multiple experiences, which we recommend to meditators. Means listening to podcasts, reading books, of course, sharing experiences, going to conferences. So trying to enrich our journey into meditation and spirituality is very, very key. It's key also for the last point you mentioned, being open-minded. And we know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. Is probably the best way to create new things. And this sense of oneness, which is key, and that a lot of people started to awake from this with the COVID. That yes, this is part of the universe, and on one hand you could spend your time complaining about how dangerous it was, or to say this is now part of the universe, this is an experience, and what will I take out of this? So thank you so much. I'm happy personally also to connect with you, Suresh. I heard a lot about you from Chandra. So, I think we had the chance to meet the teacher, when the student is ready. The teachers appear, and that's probably what happened to us. So thanks for sharing and for being part of this. And we will move to the next speaker. And I will turn again to my friend Veena to introduce our next speaker. Thank you, Suresh. If you can stay, we will have some Q&A. After the session, people want to ask questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laurence. Friends, our next guest, Brent Chandler, founder and CEO of FormFree, a widely recognized innovator in mortgage and financial services technologies. Brent has spent 25 years at the leading edge of trading, personal finance, wealth management, and consumer finance. Chandler launched FormFree in 2007 after his own frustrating home-buying experience fueled an obsession with making loans simpler and safer for everyone. Prior to that, he helped create the world's first online trade at CheckFree and helped usher in the aggregation revolution at Cash Edge, both later acquired by Fiserv. He's also held senior level positions on Wall Street at Merrill Lynch and Fidelity. Chandler received his BS in Mathematics Computer Sciences from Southern Illinois University and served 6 years honorably in the Marine Corps. He sits on the board of directors for the American Red Cross of Northeast Georgia. Chandler lives in Athens, Georgia with his wife, Amy, and 2 sons. I welcome you here, Brent Chandler.
Thank you. Can you all see me, or can you hear me? Because I can't see anyone.
Yes, we can see you. We can see you.
Very good.
And the beautiful background.
First, thank you. I took that picture. So thank you so much for that beautiful meditation. It's just amazing to connect with people in this manner. I've never done this before. And the gentleman before me, thank you for your story as well. I am a relatively new person to this group, this amazing global energy environment is so beautiful. And my story is really one about dying. And Chandra spoke yesterday or last night about this idea of the mindfulness and not buying into necessarily the routine of the world and how we can free ourselves. And my story is very much about that. I was born into foster care. I was removed from my birth mother and put into foster care, where I was, for the most part, unloved. And I think that had a very big impact on my journey as I stand here today, 54 years later. That journey began seeking love. It was always in me to want to find unconditional love. And yet the world taught me something totally different. It taught me abuse. It taught me about not being good enough. I was different. I was unique. I was adopted by a family that abused me. I was molested. These are not things that I would normally talk about, but I think it's important to see the transformation that can happen when we get out of the mind and get into something much bigger. And so my journey started in a place where I wanted love. I couldn't find it. And the way I found love was literally through my own getting in trouble and apologizing. So life was not easy, and I was never able to find peace or happiness. So as a child, I was angry. I was frustrated. I was discontent. Nothing was good enough. I wasn't good enough. And yet I was an overachiever. I wanted to be good, but I couldn't achieve the commitments of love that were expected of me. So that went on through my adolescent years, and I fell into the trappings of society. Again, the manifesto of life is to follow this path, this journey that's laid before you, that's programming the software that was in my mind from others that would input how life was supposed to be. And I just had conflict with that constantly. That constant seeking and searching, while also suffering, was my great consternation for the first 40 years of my life. It led me to alcohol abuse. Alcohol abuse led me to further difficulties in life, and trouble with the law, trouble with relationships, trouble with businesses. I was an overachiever. I served 6 years in the Marine Corps, honorably, meritoriously promoted twice. I was good at just about everything I did because I went 110%. So I had the philosophies of doing my best always, but never achieving what the world wanted me to be. So that always left me short. And that just kept driving me down into this anxiety, lack of love for self-hatred, to the point where ultimately I just didn't want to wake up anymore. And along the way, of course, I had a fabulous career. I was very good in college, straight A's, a student, but dissatisfied. So sought the Marine Corps. Marine Corps, overachieved, got a degree while I was in the Marine Corps, came out, sought more, always wanting more, always wanting what the world was saying. This is how you can achieve success. This is who you're supposed to be. Get your college degree, go get a job, make money, make more money. And yet I was miserable. I was doing all those things. They're telling me to do these things. And yet I couldn't find peace. And so that journey led me to a place where an angel, a divine entity, stood at a crossroads and said, Brent, you're not a bad person. You're sick. There's help. And that help was a divine light. It was a group of people that no longer judged me, that more or less said, we love you exactly the way you are, with all of these warts and flaws that you suspect that you say you have. And the thing was, everyone in that presence had the same story to some degree. We knew whether you were a different color, a different race, a different religion, a different gender, we were all somewhat the same. We suffered from some affliction that was very similar. And in that presence, a bright light entered my body and I changed. It hit me. And from that day forward, my life was different. And there's a summary to all of this. In the Marine Corps, we never quit. We were taught how to kill, of all things. And surrender was not in our midst, ever. And yet, as I grew older, I couldn't reconcile how we could kill each other. Once I read, it was once stated when someone asked Buddha what was wrong with the world, he simply said, oh, that's easy, too much hate. And so all of these things were happening to me, and I had to do one thing. I had to die to Brent. I had to die to myself. I was living through Brent's mind in the way that I constructed the world, in the manifest and the belief system that was plugged into me at childhood, at birth, as I'm ripped from the womb, ripped from love, and then brought in love. There was love attempted, but all of these things were how the world wanted me to be, and I couldn't reconcile it. I couldn't fit in. I couldn't find my place, and I was miserable. And I would suggest that the bulk of people on this planet are suffering from that misery, this programming that we're pushed on our children. And then that takes us into the culture that we live today, that we see out there. This is a refreshing reprieve. And I know that Chandra wants to take this energy and impact other people, all the people that are on this call. And it's a beautiful initiative. It's giving is the highest form of living. So as I'm going through this journey, this angel, this person was placed in front of me, a total stranger, and said, you're not a bad person. You're sick. There's help. Yeah, I was sick. Alcohol, I couldn't, if I had one, I had 100. And that led me, as I said, into all these different places. And I learned to surrender. I learned to die to myself and to believe that there was a higher power, that there was a God, there was a spiritual entity, there was a universal presence of energy that was bigger than me, that I wasn't it, and that all I could control was me. I can't control you. I can't control the weather, my kids, the job, the this, the that, nothing, but I can control me. And so as that focus began, I began to empty the garbage can of life. All of those things that I compressed into my mind for so long that I wanted to be free of, that I just didn't want anybody to see. I put the mask on. I lived in a mask and tried to power through every day. And over time, it just wore me down. But now I'm emptying the garbage can. And as of this tonight, what I was doing right before here, and I'm not embarrassed to talk about it, I received my 14-year anniversary of being sober for 14 years. And that is the way that the journey began. I had to free the mind of the toxicity of the world that pumps all this stuff, these toxic emissions of alcohol, drugs, of all of the dopamine and serotonin, the fixes of our mobile devices, TikTok, social media, blah, 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 blah. So when we go into mindfulness, we quiet the mind. Last night we went empty. Tonight again, we went into gratitude. Gratitude is the most beautiful thing. To be grateful just to have legs. I so much appreciate what you shared, and your voice is just angelic. But I had to effectively quiet the mind and get into my heart. Find that balance of female and masculine energy so that I could be one with God. And so that process took place, the surrender, the dying, the cleansing. And along the while, at the exact same time that I got sober, is when I founded my company. And what I can tell you unequivocally, without question, is that in 1996, it's in my bio, but I think it's worth sharing. My life is just a mirror image of itself, almost identical. And the proof is this. In 1996, I was on the team that created the world's first online trade. Now, I was in finance. I worked on Wall Street. I did different things. I was a broker at Merrill Lynch. I got into trading, a hedge fund, and then I got into the technology side. And the technology, I was on the team. I didn't come up with the idea, but I was on the team that created the world's first online trade on the internet. And that progressed into creating stock exchanges, creating alternative algorithmic trading systems. I worked for a gentleman named Tejpal Shah, who was the Pentium 4 creator at Intel. And he created an algorithmic trading system known as TraderBot. And we could transact billions of transactions a second. So all of these things were in my midst. And I'm learning and living in this place where I'm seeking money. I'm seeking climbing that corporate ladder and going nowhere. And yet along the way, I'm learning all these things and meeting all these fabulous people. And ultimately watch the entire innovation of an industry. The brokerage industry went from a manual stockbroker process to a digital straight through processing, instantaneous transaction. I lived it, but I was asleep. I was still lost in the brain of achievement and success and money and chasing everything but peace. And when I created Form Free, I was fortunate enough to have the idea that spawned the world's first automated asset verification. And what this has created is a virtual credit environment for all humans on Earth to be able to be assessed via non-traditional credit needs, meaning everybody borrows money and everybody has an ability to pay. That's what I created. The quantification mathematically, empirically of how we could do that. Well, just what that does is that touches people that have been left behind, that touches people that have been underserved, that touches people that have been ostracized or biased because of race, color, socioeconomic backgrounds. Whether it was intentionally or not, it happened. In the United States, there's a massive wealth gap, which leaves certain types of individuals behind. And so what we've created by virtue of this surrender moment is an ability to give instead of take. Form Free created a tool that can assess people's credit, that can put them into homes, give them access to virtual credit. So in that journey of learning how to surrender, to die, to win, to give, to live, giving is the highest form of living. I found meditation. I met with Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the 4 Agreements. I've met with Chandra. I've met with so many different gurus around the world who have taught me how to surrender, how to let go of the mind and get into the heart. And this is something that I truly believe, that I had to die to self in order to experience God's will for me. It was always there. I was in the way. And that has led to an enriched life. I work with inmates in my community. I work with underprivileged children. They're the victims. How can we help them? How can I use with the products that I create and build to serve the greater community, not only of lending, but also the enrichment of those lives, empowering those children to get educations and empowering those families to live a better life. It's truly a blessing. in terms of gratitude, every single day I say, I get to do this. I get to do this living. And for me, I have studied quantum mechanics. I've studied quantum physics, the geometric shapes of the universe. I understand a lot about energy. I understand how we are energy beings. We're spiritual beings living a human experience. It's just a temporary time that we get to experience this beautiful, unbelievable life. And ask myself, how do I want to have an experience? I don't believe in good and bad. I don't believe in right and wrong. I believe in that everything is a perception of the mind, and there's 7.5 billion different perceptions of what those things are. You know, I served in the Marine Corps. We were told to go do these horrific things to these people we didn't even know, because somebody over here said to do it. And I said, why? As I got older, I said, why? What are we doing? I've met with Afghanis, I've met with Iraqis, I've ridden with them in Ubers, and I find people to be beautiful. I love everyone. And that is what I found through the spiritual journey. That is what I found from working with shamans, from working with Native Americans. You know, people are beautiful inherently, and we want to connect, but we're so tied up in the mind that we can't. And so programs like this mean so much to me. I'm just grateful to be a part of it. I'm grateful. I met Raditi at a conference that we were at, and I was speaking about how we're helping the underserved and how we're creating alternative credit. I know I botched the name, and how we're doing things to serve the greater humanity. And I'm blessed to be able to do that. I have 2 boys, 19 and 20. They've heard me speak about this. They watch me, and I allow them to be who they are. We raise animals. We guide our children. We don't raise them. Let them be who they're supposed to be. That's what I say. I'm not preaching to you, but I've allowed them to be who they are supposed to be and get into their own trouble and say, I love you no matter what. Unconditional love is all I ever sought. It's all we need, each other, regardless of what we look like, regardless of our flaws or suggested flaws. So I am so grateful for this time. My story is probably not unlike so many millions and millions of people in terms of that fall. But how can we help people wake up? How can we help them find their true selves? That's what I'm passionate about. Thank you.
Right. Well, this is Radhika. So Lawrence just wanted to say something. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you accepted this request to come in as a guest speaker in such a short notice. I know you're super busy with so much going on for your company. And like Brent said, I met him just a few months ago at a conference where when he got on the stage, he said, okay, everyone, let's do my meditation for 10 minutes, get into mindful movement. And that minute I knew what a great realized master he is. So from that time, I've connected him with Chandra and we've been in touch talking. So we're so grateful for your sharing. It's amazing that you came here today and shared so much. So wanted to thank you again.
Oh, thanks, Radhika, and thank you, Brent. Very intense. Yeah, thank you for the time you gave us and for the encouragement you gave us. We need people like you. And I won't repeat everything you said because, of course, I think everybody in this group is feeling this into their bone and every cell. You know, one thing that came to my mind, I was listening to you, and you know, we have a great master, Patriji, who is in India. And I remember when I studied meditation to say, why didn't I discover meditation, you know, when I was young? Because it would have saved me so much trouble. Not all the trouble you had, but even having, you know, one of my boy who is heavily, very heavily handicapped, you know, took me to some very difficult places. And he told me very wisely, he said, you know, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be talking to me. You wouldn't be working with 99% of Indian people, you know, sometimes wondering what I'm doing here and helping if you had not had this journey. So, and for me, it was just my first days of meditation. And I was stunned when he said, just be grateful to all of this. So it was like what you described, a kind of complete reverse of what I had been told, before, or put in my brain, as you said, the software in the brain. And, I believe that you have, yes, tremendous to give by telling openly your story. Whatever the age, you probably have had a million, life before. And you pick up one that was quite difficult, if I cannot find a word, but probably you made a contract in your previous, between two lives to just go and take this, because it would lead you to teach something unique, which is what you are doing, and which is so rich for everybody. So probably a very brave soul to take this. And you made me think about my son. It's very son with cannot talk, can understand everything, cannot talk, cannot walk. And to think that people are taking so brave contract to grow and to help the world grow. So thank you so much for this, and continue. And I really hope that we meet someday, and we continue to share the energy and for everything you are doing. It was an amazing sharing, and I think everybody is moved and can relate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very grateful.
Me too.
I know we are past the time for everyone. There is a lot going on in the energy group. We're going to officially close the session, but as usual, we will stay a few more minutes for any questions you would have, especially for Suresh or Brent. Brent, I don't know if you can spend a few more minutes, but there might be some further questions.
Sure.
Anybody who wants to say something? Vina, I let you check.
Yes, I don't see any hands raised.
Okay. I see Chand.
Hello.
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah, Chand.
Oh, yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello, Mike. Yeah, I just heard Brent and the Suresh stories. Indeed, rather very beautiful. And I just got intrigued because Brent mentioned quite diversified experience in spirituality and experimented with many things. So I got intrigued since you mentioned about shamanic experience. I was curious to know that did he ever get exposure to ayahuasca ritual, which is also a part of shamanic and also called as pretty spiritual experience. It's also near enlightening. I would love to know from Brent if he ever took that experience. Thank you.
Okay, so the question was, can someone who, it was not completely audible, something about the shamanic experience, and if there was some other version of that I experienced, and then the bright light was there, and the spiritual experience. What, can somebody repeat that?
Yeah, I there is a lot of background noise, Chan, behind you, but I also understood that you were asking a little more, to know a little more about the shamanic experience of Brent.
Yeah, shamanic. Yeah, because of Peruvian shamanic experience, one thing is called as ayahuasca ritual.
Oh, ayahuasca.
Maybe because ayahuasca ritual. Did you ever get exposure to ayahuasca ritual, which is also quite enlightening? It's quite deep spiritual experience. In Costa Rica and Peru, it's a very common thing. Many people visit from US to most places to get shamanic experience. It's conducted by shamans, and it's a very deep. It's called as very deep spiritual experience, and you literally feel enlightenment.
So the answer to that question is I certainly, yes, I know a lot about it. I've studied it, but with my condition and predisposure to any type of drugs and alcohol, I steer clear of ayahuasca. But I will tell you that my shamanic journeys have been as visceral and enlightening as what I've heard it described through ayahuasca, if not more so, without all the hallucinogens. But I do believe that nature, I believe that Earth has a recipe, has led us to these tools to enable us to expand our pineal gland and our third eye, to commune with the greater universe and God. And we dormant that by virtue of, again, as I said, with all these substances and all these different things that take up our imagination. We literally get subverted into these toxic lifestyles so that we cannot find that harmony in our third eye and our pineal gland to expand. So in the shamanic work that I've done, it's been years and years and years of consistency of shamanic work. So it really is about journeying into upper worlds and lower worlds and different places where you can receive answers and literally commune with energy in all sorts of different forms. So it's a deep state of meditation, first and foremost. It's all about breathing, and it's about literally delving even deeper with a guide who then opens up this access. So I have very deep experiences within my, as far as meditation is concerned for me, I meditate every single day at various periods of the day. So I am able to literally go to my sacred garden at a time of anxiety, at a time of fear, at a time of frustration, anger. I learn how to literally quiet my brain and go into that place and seek help. And those are some of the sacred tools that I've learned through shamans who will also work to remove and guide into removal of just different types of pain and suffering. It really is there are multiple dimensions, as we know in our chakras, as we know in energy, to be able to tap into that and go with a guide and actually do work. So these are real life experiences that I have encountered, which are hard to describe in a group like this, because I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone, but it truly, I have grown so much through the shaman work that I've done, through the drum sessions, the drum ceremonies, frequency and resonance and understanding quantum. We are all one. We are all one. The atomic theory is out. We are not separate particles that are Darwinism, the survival of the fittest. These are wrong intentional, maybe not they don't coincide with who we are as one entity, one sentient being of love. We're a fractal of energy that is all tied together. I think of it as a raindrop falling into the ocean. We're just in a form of a raindrop today, but we'll rejoin the ocean. And I love the Siddhartha story of the riverman knows. Humans want to seek the shorelines, whether it's over there or over here. Change is the only constant in life. Embrace it, love it, let go. Let go of the preconceived ideas of the notions of the brain to say, oh, particles are separate and distinct and they have to collide to be one. Wrong. It's already one. Energy, a thought is a wave that goes on infinitely. We are all one. So the sages and the Celtics and the shamans, this is 35,000-year-old culture. India, Mother India, Buddha. I love Buddha. I love Buddha. I love like his journey and how he said no to the material things. And the Brahmins, and said, you know, that we are one. So I don't want to. I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person who finds joy in all of these teachers. They're very beautiful in so many realms. And Jesus even said, "Be in the world, but not of it." We're here today doing what we do, and we're grateful for what we get to do in this very brief time. But don't be of it. Being of it means, you know, I'm coveting money. I'm coveting these rungs of ladders of success, to be FOMO, to be compared to be contrasted to these other people. No, you are perfect, just who you are. And so all these different teachers, through that spiritual dying of self and waking up to God, has led me down those journeys to experience everything. Michael Singer is a great sage who also talks about the surrender, the untethered soul. You know, who is this brain that's talking to us, and why? Why are they telling us not to do these things? What if we don't listen to it and just follow our hearts? What if we quiet the mind and listen to something bigger?
And Brent, to your point, and to answer to Chand.
Thank you.
In this community,
Thank you, Brent, for the candid reply.
we also believe that we have all the powers to create our own chemicals and to go deep into meditation, to create this state of oneness and connection. So we don't also shamanism is a wonderful, and especially using the meditation too, to access to new experiences and so on. But we don't believe you need any specific substance or drugs or whatever to get to that state. We are able to by ourselves go into that state, and that's what we recommend everybody to practice. And we have the meditation we do now, but there are many other ways to meditate. I was with a meditator yesterday night. She has done shamanism, and she's doing shamanism a lot. But our first experience was 10 days of 10 hours of silence in the ashram in India. And she said she had amazing physical and spiritual experiences with these hours of meditation, flow of nearly orgasm of love into the heart by doing this. So that's what we would recommend to experience more meditation, to connect and feel this oneness. I am conscious of time for everybody. I think we're gonna hopefully have other opportunities to share and continue the sharing. So I want to thank a lot Brent and Suresh for for their sharing, for their stories, for their inspiring stories, and the richness of this group, of these energies. I am so grateful for it. So grateful to hear. It's like I have chills all over the body in the heart. So it was a great night for me. So I can go and meditate now on all of this before waking up. Thank you so much to the Buddha CEO team again, to all the participants for being there, for just being who they are. We love you all, and have a great end of the day, end of the night, end of the afternoon, and love yourself as much as you can.
Beautiful.
Thanks a lot, and thanks to the Buddha CEO team again. Thank you, Veena, and the technical team.
Thank you.
For an amazing session. Thank you all. Meet you all again tomorrow at 6 a.m. for another